and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Mogbe, right here in Lagos.
Sporty greetings to you wherever you are in the world watching us in London. I'm Austin Okonakman.
Okay, it's a loaded package for you tonight because we'll be taking a look at what happened at the weekend. Remember, the Champions League, both in Africa and, of course, in Europe, was decided over the weekend. And it's a first for these two teams, Pyramids of Egypt and, of course, well, PSG of France. For the first time, these two teams won the Champions League, respectively, in their various leagues. It was Holy Grail for PSG, but finally they've won. So we will be bringing you a special other viewing centers of what happened with Mastercard at the weekend. You have that on the show tonight. Also, the Super Falcons of Nigeria beating Cameroon by 2-0 just a few moments ago, right there at the MKO Stadium in Abeokuta, Ogun State. It was supposed to be two friendlies over two legs, but the one on Saturday did not happen, but the one on Tuesday was played, and of course the girls were still ready to battle. That's why all the, well, ups and downs that was there surrounding the whole friendly. Rashida Ajibade, Captain Fantastic, score both goals for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. We'll talk about that on the show tonight. And of course, the Under-17 FIFA Women's World Cup. Remember, it's going to take place in October, later in the year. We have the pot for you, the procedure for the draw. The draw will be done tomorrow, but the procedure for the draw is out. Of course, Nigeria is in pot one. Of course, as perennial competitors, so we are there. The Flamingos are in pot one with host nation and Morocco. Of course, USA, Spain complete that pot one. We'll talk about that on the show. And of course, the Unity Cup, the Super Eagles won, and they were celebrating as if they won the Nations Cup or even the World Cup. We'll talk about that on the show tonight. The lessons, the benefits, Austin covered it all through from Ghana to the Jamaica, the Reggae Boys, and of course, the benefits coming from that, you'll be hearing from the coach on the show tonight. Also, Sheodiko was also in London to watch the Super Eagles play. You will be hearing from him on the show tonight, the benefits of that and the lessons you're learning from that Unity Cup. Yes, we will also touch down on the Prosperity Cup. You know, it's grassroots development. We also have to talk about that on the show tonight. So, Austin, it is a loaded package, and we are ready to roll. You ready?
Yeah, I always tell you guys it's an action-packed world of sports. So whenever I will have a chance to come around to talk sports, for me, it's just fun all the way. So yes, you talked about the Champions League and what also happened in the CAF Champions League. What a story for Pyramid. I love the sort of story they told, particularly reminding us that it is what you sow, you will reap, And we're still getting conversations out of the National Sports Festival. The Super Falcons got busy. Is it the sort of test that they need as they get ready for the WAFCON? I'm sure when you listen to my interview with Shehu Diko, I was saying the men are in London. You left the ladies at Jevu, but he gave a good explanation. Let's just hope that we put all of this together to start, giving meaning to equality and, of course, empowering the girl child to say that.
What it's about, I mean, equal treatment. That's what the girls are after. Not even the equal pay, but equal treatment. Okay, now let's start off with the Champions League. Yes, the Champions League ended, of course. I mean, PSG winning for the first time. See, aftermath of it, Simeone Inzaghi, he has left the club on mutual consent to join in 2021, winning their 20th league title for them. And not just that, he also led them to 2 finals in 3 years, and he lost both. It was on the road to treble, but from 3 to none. And of course, he ended the season trophyless, so he's leaving. His contract was supposed to have expired in 2026, but he has left the club. And the celebrations right there in Paris when they returned. I mean, the fans, the players, everyone coming out, to the stadium to actually celebrate this particular victory, to show how much it means to all of them. They've been waiting for it. They've had several coaches, from even Carlo Ancelotti couldn't do it for them. They thought it was going to be the one. But Luis Enrique coming in, even when Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, Neymar, all of them couldn't win that. But then you had Luis Enrique, former Barcelona coach, who also won the Champions League with Barcelona, was the one who won it for the Ousmane Dembele at the center of it. Now, in Lagos, Mastercard had a powerful event, right here in Lagos, where fans had the opportunity to actually watch the Champions League live. Let's take a look at the report and see how it all went down right here in Lagos.
Football fans, corporate partners and cardholders gather at an exclusive live screening of the 2025 UEFA Champions League final powered by Mastercard in Lagos. The live screening of the match provides a vibrant platform for these key stakeholders to connect, celebrate and explore new opportunities created by Mastercard as part of its Africa Football Passion campaign. Before the game between Paris Saint-Germain and Inter Milan at the Munich Arena, Mastercard's country manager and area business head for West Africa, Folashade Femi Lawal, gives reasons for the event.
This evening is not only about the match, I just want to remind you. It's about the experience. From the action of the screens to the energy in this room. We invite you together with my powerful Mastercard team. Enjoy the activities we curated for you. And immerse yourself in the celebration of football at its finest. In Nigeria, as well know, football is more than just a sport. It's a shared passion that unites us, that drives conversation, that inspires the younger generation, even the present generation.
As the match begins, the viewers, mostly fan of clubs not in the final, along with former Super Eagles defender Joseph Yobo, express passionate emotions. Paris Saint-Germain defeated Inter Milan 5-0 to become champions of Europe for the first time, and this achievement was described as priceless, fueled by Mastercard.
Very good game, but surprisingly, PSG outmastered Inter Milan. We didn't see that coming. Though I picked PSG as a favorite to win today, but I didn't know they were going to be this good. Like 5-0 in the Champions League final, I think, that's we've not seen that in a long time, So I think they raised their game. Should we say PSG performed better or Inter didn't play to their standards? So, but I'm surprised, but I'm happy with the game. It was a good Champions League final. Just the scorecard, didn't really reflect the performance. So credit to PSG. I thought they did ever so well, and they deserve the win today. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I think having Mastercard, doing the priceless moment and bringing the fans and users of Mastercard here, I think it's a good event. Having people to come and watch the Champions League final, I think it's a surprise package, and the ambience is very good. Everyone is having fun. Everyone is watching the game excited, and also a wonderful performance by Singer Nice as well. I think this is well put together by Mastercard, and that's why it's a priceless moment. It's very special.
Mastercard believes leveraging the power of sport to foster meaningful connections that transcend borders embodies its vision of merging global football excitement with local energy and business collaboration.
Tonight is a culmination of the experiences that Mastercard is creating for not just football fans, but our cardholders. So the Spend and Win campaign was to leverage the African passion for football. And as many customers has participated, they were given a chance, an opportunity to have live viewing, luxury experiences sponsored by Mastercard. And this cut across 5 African nations: Ghana, Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, and Morocco. For us at Mastercard, football is not just a sport, it's beyond branding. It is what drives conversation. It's what inspires the future generation. It is the reality of the African people. It's the experiences, the fun, the inspiration to be won. It has become a unifying force in Africa. And also, our partnership with UEFA Champions League is sponsorship for over 3 decades. This is the outcome of that. Because we believe in this, we believe in the unifying force. And that is what we have demonstrated with our partnership. The Nigerian factor is a strong factor when it comes to football. Whether you are viewing in your living room, or just in a stadium, or across viewing centers, the passion, the energy of the Nigerian people when it comes to football, very few things unite us as much as football. And so Mastercard is going to leverage tonight's experience to take it to another level, to create experiential moments for our customers. Get them to be locked into their passion, to deliver the promise we made to them, that we are here to give them the ultimate experience. So we are curating opportunities through their card, the experiences we give them via our various products. We have essential debits, we have the affluent cards that gives them niche, top line experience that Mastercard can only provide. You can't beat the reach of Mastercard. We are priceless, and that's what we are going to do right after now, to take it to the next level with all our stakeholders in the ecosystem, the financial institutions, the non-FIs, the fintechs, the startups, the ecosystem players. As you have witnessed, all of them gathered with us tonight to celebrate the fun and the experience of UEFA Champions League tonight.
As Paris Saint-Germain lifted the trophy, the viewers celebrated more than the match, but a shared experience Mastercard helped turn into something memorable with musical artist Nice. Mastercard's long-standing partnership with UEFA highlights its commitment to creating opportunities for fans to experience the thrill of live football in more innovative and rewarding ways.
Can we have other members of the team please join? Thank you very much.
Austin, I'm sure none of the fans there could have predicted that that game will end 5-0, with Inter Milan that have the most selfish defense in the Champions League this season, conceding all 5. The defenders were missing. Now, just take a look at the screen, the prize money. So the winner, PSG, went home with £21.5 million. And for the runner-up, Inter Milan, they were able to get £15.9 million. Semi-finals was £12.9 million. Quarterfinals, £10.7 million. Of course, round of 16 was £9.4 million. So this is the rewards that UEFA gave to those who participated in the UEFA Champions League. So hopefully next season will be a better one. So let's bring in all our guests. I think Kende Idris is in Lagos. He's joining us via Zoom today. I mean, you know what's happening in Lagos? Everywhere is on lockdown. Some parts, not everywhere. And David Oko actually watched the Super Falcons game right there in Abeokuta. He will also be joining us. So, Kende Idris, you ready to join us?
Good evening. Good evening, Sisti. We're always together on Tuesdays, but we're still together. And also, Austin, good evening to you. It's good to join the show. And the lineup is super packed because there is Super Eagles, there is Super Falcons. So when you have those two, the lineup is super packed. Can't wait to delve in.
Yeah, we can't wait to delve in. Okay, let's quickly go to, your thoughts quickly on the Champions League. Just quickly.
Okay.
Just 1 minute.
Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic final, though I'm pretty disappointed. All competition long, I pitched my tent with Inter Milan. I feel they are one of the most organized teams in Europe. But from the quarterfinals, there is something special about PSG that we need to, talk about. But after that semi-final double legger against Barcelona, a lot of persons felt, okay, this Inter Milan might be the real deal. So, but the final came and it became a mismatch. I think as much as we'll be disappointed in Inter Milan, I think Inter Milan will be more disappointed in themselves. They are not as bad as the scoreline, but on that day it was a very poor day. It was an off day. But the final has come. PSG really waited for this, and they got it in style. Luis Enrique, thumbs up to all of the players. Well done. This is how you do it after waiting, after waiting all your life. And the celebration should go on. Well-deserved champions.
Yeah, definitely celebrations go on. Austin, I know you want to chip in this one before we touch down on Prosperity Cup.
I know, the UEFA Champions League, Cecilia, I've always been a fan of, you thinking football and then football stuns you. PSG, I said it right from when they defeated Arsenal in London, that they seem to be the most organized, most disciplined and tactical side in Europe this season. Take about Luis Enrique, whatever he has done with that team, I think there was a renewal of their minds right after Mbappe left. They're like, okay, let's show that this is not a one big player club, and it turned it around for them, So congratulations, arguably well deserved. Everyone called for a PSG win, but nobody called for a 5-0 win, But so that's football.
That's football for you. Yeah, Prosperity Cup quickly. You want to chip in on it?
Cecilia, just a quick update. We're getting ready for the third place at the final, match. It's going to be next week, Friday. There was a postponement, but why we love talking about this one is because of the longevity, and Bayelsa State government is doing, something beautiful with this. And why I want to give this update is because they are not stopping on the ladies, Cecilia. So 2 teams from Yenagua qualified for the finals for the women's final. Afini ladies, they put up a dominant display against Bayelsa State College of Nursing Sciences. They're called BISCON, and went on to win by 3 on-reply goals. So the losers final will be between BISCON Queens and Bayelsa Stars. So it's a good one. We love the consistency of this community development program. And whether or not we agree, maybe it's part of why we're seeing Bayelsa State, getting those long-term results. Now it's paused, waiting for the third and final matches. They are doing the scouting program and the coaching program, using that window to, get some of those young players that they have discovered at this tournament. And it has been very good, curbing youth, restiveness in the area, and coming together to live in peace and unity. That's the power of sports right here, Cecilia.
All right, time to talk about the Super Falcons of Nigeria. The game against Cameroon ended 2-0. The captain, Rasheedat Ajibade, scoring both goals all in the first half. David Oko, he is in Abeokuta in Ogun State. He watched the match live. We couldn't watch it live because, what happened to the streaming? All right, David, I know you watched that game live. So what was it like for the Falcons? How did they play? How did they set up? How many players, the new players were invited, like MMSCN? Did they see football to play? Or just tell us, what the game was about and how the Super Falcons actually perform in the game against Cameroon.
Good evening, Cecilia, and thank you for the opportunity. Good evening, Austin, and good evening to the other guests in the house. It's a privilege to be here with you talking sports. The game went well, as in the results. That's what the fans want to see at the end of the day. But it wasn't such an easy game because the Cameroonian indomitable Lionesses fought, You could see after the game, some of our players carried bruises, about 3 of them. I've spoken to them, as they came into their hotel at the Continental here in Abeokuta, and they said they are okay. The game went well. There was rain. It showered in Abeokuta, but but the ladies started off brightly, with the coach putting up a lineup which was a rich blend, a mixture of youth and experience. The captain, Rashida Tajibade, as agile as usual. She won and converted the penalty, a good penalty, slotting home. And then the second goal she scored, all thanks to Rinsola Babajide, who is in the team nowadays. She's been a leader, left midfielder, and I think that's what the Falcons has been missing for a while now. A precise player on the left-hand side who can run, who can dribble, who can cross, and who can take the dead balls very well. That's what Rinsola offers you. She's so precise. And once the ball got to her in that position in the final third, I knew she was going to deliver a telling ball. And it came into the path of Rashidat, and she tucked it away for 2-0. So the ladies tried to manage the game after that strong position. I didn't see Cameroon coming back into that game. And all thanks to the technical crew too, and the guys on the bench who did a good job, to do substitution on time and to bring in the fresh legs. Just to talk about, the starting lineup, they had predicted a starting lineup in one of my videos. I think I got about 8 correctly.
Correctly, okay.
I didn't get. I got 8 correctly. Yeah, OC didn't play the game because she's not been able to train in the last 2 games, feeling discomfort in her back. I spoke to her about it, and she said, okay, let's see how it goes. But I knew if she wasn't going to make the final training or the training before that, it was going to be difficult for the coach to pick her. And then Sikiratu Issa came in for her alongside Tosin Demain. I think they did well in the center of the fence. And then the right back, Michelle Alozie, Miracle Usani, played at the left back. Miracle is a versatile player. She actually plays at right back, but today I saw her at left back. So it means we've got one hell of a player on our hands because of her delivery, because of her defensive capability. Then there was a run-in for Echegini, who was substituted later, the PSG midfielder. She did very well in the center of midfield. Yes, at the start of the game, it took her time to get to grips alongside Deborah Abiodun, but with time, she got control of the game there alongside Deborah and then Tony Payne, who was floating. So it was an impressive outing from the ladies, really impressive.
I love it. You broke it down right there. I know Austin wants to ask you 1 or 2 questions before we move straight to Kende Idris on the Falcons. Austin?
Yeah, David, we know it's normal Super Falcons doing, when they have an opportunity to prove themselves, they take it. But Cameroon, were they the real test for this sort of preparation as we get ready for the WAFCON?
Yes, Austin. I spoke to a couple of Cameroonian players. That was yesterday during the final training session in Ijebu-Ode. And they said they were going to be serious about the game, despite the fact that they didn't qualify for the WAFCON. It's going to be a tough game. They even reminded me that anytime both teams come up against each other, it's always a blood and thunder affair, and they were going to be serious about it. We could see in the way the Cameroonians tackled. They left a lot of our girls bruised and battered. It was a fierce game out there. Yes, your question, if this is a test, yes, we would have more tests, but this is just one of those. Because at the WAFCON, we are going to play teams similar to Cameroon. And it was a good test for us, considering the physicality of the Lionesses and also their tactical ability. Let's not forget they also have good players in their ranks. So, yes, it was a good test for us.
Okay, let's talk about some of the things you saw. Okay, Cecilia?
No, I was going to ask Kende, bring in Kende into this.
Firstly, let me take you from Austin asking if it's a proper test. 22 games played, 15 wins for the Super Falcons. That had flooded, the socials. So that tells you somebody is counting. People are counting. So Cameroon understands that. The Super Falcons understands that. And I think Cameroon, Ghana, almost every time, they feel there is something, to play for, no matter how inconsequential, no matter how much of the game is not important. So it's a good test. And like David said, the tackles, I saw the game, the tackles, the way they handled the game, the Super Falcons just were better. Not like the Cameroonians didn't come with their A game. So good one. As much as I feel, we've done the Super Falcons not too good. They've not played any game this year, and we're preparing for the WAFCON. But this is good enough test, like they say, better late than never. So let's see what comes up next. Probably when they get to camp for the WAFCON. We'll now start seeing maybe this friendly, that friendly while they prepare. But this, I think, is good enough. And the Cameroonians were a good test. Let's make the most of this and build from that. Then for Madugu, the coach, I think he needs to play games like this to further understand his team. And I think after this, it would have helped him, even further. We're mentioning names that came in to deputize, and I understand, okay, this is your strength. When this is not there, this can deputize. A player changing from left fullback to right fullback. These are the things he wants to see, and hopefully it comes together for us to activate X.
All right, David, there's just one final point before we go. We've seen the game. Tell us some of the things you saw. You were at the camp of the team just before they took on Cameroon. Is it all things bright and beautiful?
No, not all things bright and beautiful, and I think this is applies to life too. We could see the final product. They've won today, but everything did not go to plan. I'm one of those who is a critic of the federation in how they've handled the Super Falcons, late bonuses and allowances, and then logistics is still a major concern for the team. The logistics is a problem for our national teams, and the 16 months which is going to take for the hostel to get ready. That's in Abuja, where they did a groundbreaking, launching for it. I think the 16 months is too much, Austin. They need to work day and night and use floodlights so that can be ready in the next 9 months. So our Falcons, we will not be struggling for 5-star hotels to stay or hostels to stay when they come to play games. And then the issue, I just mentioned it, of allowances and bonuses. Pay the ladies what are due to them. Austin, the women's football is different from the men's football. This is why most of these ladies are breadwinners.
That's right.
While with the men, they could have other people in their family. Most of the ladies that play football are breadwinners. So when you don't even pay them what is due to them, let's leave the equal pay first. What is even due to them? When you don't do that and on time, it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
As an insider, I know, yes, there's usually issues from the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation from when you apply for a budget to approval to when it's being disbursed. Sometimes you need extra or external influences to expedite the process. But we should do things better in the country. Look at the road from Ijebu-Ode. The road from Ijebu-Ode down here to Abeokuta is nothing to write home about.
Okay, I know. I just wanted to know if we're doing anything for a change. Let's not spoil the win that we got today. Thank you so much, David Oko, for your time on the show. And you're doing a good job, covering women's football. Well done.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Austin. Thank you, Cecilia. Always a pleasure.
Awesome. I know, Cecilia, I'm just wondering how you got your head shaking and finally put it down when David landed the way he shouldn't have landed. But hey, it's time for us to start giving a change to women's football in Nigeria.
Austin, when a fixture came out, they were going to play on a Saturday at Remo Stadium, and then the next is MK. I'm like, why would you have to go there? What's the racket? What's the reason? I'm like, it's not as if it's one of the best stadiums in Nigeria. I don't know the criteria behind why they have to, because we know that the road is really terrible. So those were the first questions we're asking, because we're thinking maybe what they did before, one in Lagos, and of course the other one at the Remo Stadium, so that it will be a smooth journey for them. You don't put girls on the road, and we will leave it, because I know if we dwell on this, there's so many things that will happen. Because even that Friday night, it was the producer who called me. I'm like, the game you're going to cover on Saturday is not going to take place. We had this argument till almost 12 midnight before the breaking news came that they won't be playing game on Saturday. I mean, who does that? And then
I was having an interview with the NFF president, and he mentioned it in passing.
Yeah.
And when I sent it to Lagos, he read and listened. I was like, the NFF doesn't even know that. Cecilia, let's get on with it.
He said on Sunday, and the game was moved to Monday. From Monday, it was moved to Tuesday. I'm like, what's going on? Okay. We'll leave it at that. We're happy that they were able to play, and this is what we don't like. We missed 2 FIFA windows. We didn't play anything, and we had the opportunity to play 2. Yes, the Cameroonians, arrived late. We understand that, but you knew they were not around on Thursday. By Friday, you could have made all the logistics arrangements and say, you know what? Okay, since this happened, let's just play the game at Remo, and everyone leave from there. Okay. All right, let's leave this and quickly talk about the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup.
Okay.
You want to chip in, Kinde?
It's rather appalling, the kind of joy that Super Falcons have given us. I always say time and time again, especially if you go out there, the kind of respect people out there around the world give to the Super Falcons, Super Eagles, the only people I always feel don't have enough respect for our national team are those who own it, those who are in charge of it, those who are the administrators of the game. The Super Falcons should, by this day, in 2025, not going through stuff like this. Nah. They are too much. They are too big a franchise to be facing such. But this is our reality.
Yeah.
We have to face it.
Yeah, it's like we are dealing with amateur football and they are not professional footballers. They are 9-time African champions for a reason. All right, we'll talk about the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup taking place later in the year. The pot is ready, the drop procedure. So I'll just run through the pot that the Flamingos are in. So there you have the allocation for the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup taking place later in the year in Morocco. Morocco, no, it's not the Mecca of football. Morocco, of course, imports 1. Spain, Japan, Korea, DPR, USA, and Nigeria imports 1. And in Port 2, you have Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, Canada, New Zealand, and Ecuador. You go to Port 3, where you have China, Cameroon, Korea Republic, Italy, France, and Zambia make up this one. And the Port 4, where you have Paraguay, Costa Rica, Netherlands, Norway, Cote d'Ivoire, and Samoa. Samoa, I mean, this country, surprise one, right there, qualifying for the women's Under-17 FIFA World Cup taking place in Morocco next year. The main draw will be done tomorrow. So tomorrow at this time, we will know where the Flamingos will be playing. But remember that you can have 2 teams from the same confederation in the same group. That won't happen. So when it comes to Zambia, Morocco, and of course Cote d'Ivoire and Cameroon, they will not be with Nigeria at this stage. Maybe in the quarterfinals, if they are able to make it past the group stage, they may meet each other. But the draws, the finals will be done tomorrow, so we'll know which group the Flamingos will be in. They had a good outing at the National Sports Festival when they won silver, losing to, of course, Delta State via penalty, and that was one of the build-up they've been having towards preparing for the World Cup taking place in Morocco in October. Okay, now, Austin, you spoke with the National Sports Commission chairman, talking about the benefits from the Unity Cup. Nigeria, the Reggae Boys dealt something with Nigeria. I was watching that game back and forth, and after that, the Champions League made me relax because I was tensed up. I was like, what's happening? We were playing Jamaica, not Cameroon, not Cote d'Ivoire, not Spain, where it was all back and forth. But what was important was the victory. He's got a lot to say concerning that victory, and also chip in on the Super Falcons of Nigeria. I'm talking about Ashe Odiko, the chairman of National Sports Commission.
And I think from the new players that played, we have already found from the reports a lot of potential players that can compete and bring more competition to the Super Eagles, especially the positions where we need covers. For example, the back four, the right back, the left back. We have all new people that have played there, so we are having additional options that will now give us the plan going forward. And the coach has been able to test his players and to know them more, because the objective is to plan for the resumption of the World Cup qualifiers, because we have 4 games to play, which we believe if we win those 4 games, we are likely going to qualify to the World Cup. So no more chance for error. So the last World Cup qualifiers, the coach started without any friendly matches, started playing the qualifiers. Now he's going to have 3 games, 2 games here and the friendly with Russia. At least an option to now plan more, bond with the players, sell his system and ideas to them. So it's a quite successful tournament for the team, and in preparation to the World Cup qualifiers resumption in September. The Super Falcons are going to play the Women Nations Cup, so they are having Cameroon to play with, and so it's part of preparations for their outcome. And now the focus is to get them to acclimatize and prepare for the outcome in Morocco to do that. I think how many matches there? I think this is a very long time. This is why when they are playing in Nigeria to do that. But so they are always getting the right treatment and the best. I think we can give them. The NFF are doing what they have to do. We could do what we have to do as well. The most important thing is just focus and eyes on the ball. Let's get the result. Let them go to the Alcon, make sure they qualify to the World Cup, and see how they can win the cup as well.
How they can win the cup as well. But preparations haven't been, it has not been top notch. But hey, Austin, Unity Cup, you were right there. I mean, the benefit he talked about, the fact that this will definitely, help the coach, prepare so well for the last games of the World Cup qualifiers. For that qualifying for the World Cup, I know I don't have hope anymore. Just enjoy it, right?
Cecilia, right after the Unity Cup, I spoke to Eric Shell. I also had a brief chat with Steve McLaren, the coach of the Reggae Boys. I spoke a bit to Dwight York. Dwight York also, and I had an extensive conversation with the Black Stars coach, Otto Addo. Look, and for them, they're like, any opportunity to get players together, any opportunity to, work those strategies, those tactics, and have a bit of an assessment of your team is very, very important. And for Nigeria now, we're going to be playing Russia. It is the performance that you take, from the Unity Cup that you're going to use to get into the Russia game. And Kehinde Idris, there's something psychological about lifting trophy. Maybe this will just change the mentality of the Super Eagles.
You're super correct, Austin. Very, very correct. Let me just quickly bring in, say, as now, you're looking at the league and also the Champions League. Why not first look at the Carabao Cup? Open your mind to how trophy lifting feels like. And I think that's the story of the Super Eagles. Their celebration wasn't born out from, we won a big trophy. Their celebration was born out from, we won something. And that could propel us into bigger things. And then also, maybe it's a bit unfair to Eric Sekuchel that his first two games for the Super Eagles were dead competitive.
Okay, I'll get back to Kehinde Idris, but I caught up with Eric Sekuchel, and he was speaking about the benefits of winning the Unity Cup. Listen,
that is, you need, if you're playing Rwanda and all of that. But he saw a totally different team because now we can express and try things. So,
we'll get Kehinde back. But Cecilia,
okay,
fantastic for Sekou going. You understand what it feels if you're lifting a bigger cup.
Okay, that's it. That's a good place to leave it. I caught up with Eric Shell right after that Unity Cup win, and he was speaking about the benefits of competing at the Invitational Tournament. Listen,
I'm happy about that because guys, they show to everybody how is the great state of mind and the great fighting spirit that they had during this cup. So we work a lot. I'm happy about that. The reality, we need to work again because we took so many goals during this Unity Cup, especially when we lose the ball and when we come back after the cross. We need to work about that. But the reality, I think we create something new about the game project, about the identity of the player, So the identity of the team, we made a lot of high pressure on the pitch, and I think it's great. We are some quality, but we are some weaknesses. So we need to continue and work again.
That's it. Very important. Cecilia, the need to work on the identity for the Super Eagles. Hopefully, all of this will, amount to something as they get ready for the World Cup qualifiers in September.
Yeah, definitely. Let's quickly run through the names of the players in camp before we talk about Pyramids beating Sundowns to win their very first Champions League title. You have a Maduka Okoye, Italy, who is in camp. Remember, the main goalkeeper will not be around because he had to travel for his father's burial. Amos Obasoge is also in camp with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Let's look at the defenders. William Troost Ekong, Bright Said, Samuel Bruno Oyemachi is the last to arrive. So you have all 20 players right there in camp. Shea, Oluwa Shemilogo Ajayi, Igo Ogbu, Sodiq Umar, Sadiq Ismaila, and of course you have Benjamin Frederick. So these are the stars that are currently in Russia. Frank Onyeka, Rafael Oyendika, Fisaya Dele Bashiru, and Christantos Uche, Papa Daniel Mustafa of Niger Tornadoes. You have Savio Isaac of Edogun Rangers. These players are in camp. We'll go to the forwards. That's where you have a lot of players, pulling out because of injury. Victor Boniface, Moses Simon, Tolu Okrodere, and of course, Olakunle Olusegun. So all these players are in camp. So 20 players are ready for the Russia game. A quick one on Pyramids winning their very first Champions League in Africa, beating, of course, Mamelodi Sundowns. No one could have thought that would happen. But this was what happened, 2-1 on Sunday. And, of course, on aggregate, Pyramids winning 3-2 on aggregate. And, of course, they are champions of the CAF Champions League for the very first time. Of course, it's the second time they actually participating. So Zamalek has been relegated down, while Pyramids are the one thriving. Quick one, Kende, on this one.
Yeah, that there is something that should be looked into when it comes to African football. At the North African side, they are doing something marvelous, from Algeria to Tunisia to Egypt to Morocco, all the way. So it's been amazing for Pyramids. A good run. They got to the final, won it, and I don't know, West Africa, we need to start doing something. Exactly at this time. Sorry about the power outage.
Well, Kende, thank you so much for joining us on the show tonight.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Austin, we have to go. Pyramids are champions for the first time, like PSG.
It is what it is, Cecilia. The game is the game. In 2018 or 2019, some Saudi Arabian money was put into that club, and everything has changed. The team that was formed in 2008 already winning the CAF Champions League because they invested and did the right things. It is what you sow, you reap. That's the show in London. I'm Austin Okonakwan. In everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.
And thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a good night, right?